Night, during the Ice Age, was not a safe time to close your eyes. Humans had no claws, no fangs, no fur thick enough to matter. And the dark belonged to things that did. Cave lions, Pleistocene wolves, predators built for exactly this hour. You'd think caves were simple, permanent homes. They weren't. Archaeological layers show something stranger: shared occupancy. Humans and predators actually took turns living in the same shelters. Not at the same time across generations, one after another. A cave used by lions one century, by humans the next. That alone tells you something about how contested shelter really was. Survival wasn't about avoiding danger entirely, it was about managing it. Fire was the first tool for that. But not fire placed just anywhere. Deep inside a cave, smoke has nowhere to go. Trapped smoke in an enclosed space could genuinely kill you overnight. So early humans slept near entrances instead, or under open rock overhangs. Close enough for warmth, open enough for smoke to escape. And critically, positioned to see anything approaching from outside. Fire wasn't just comfort here, it was an early warning system. But fire needs fuel, and fuel wasn't always available. On open steppe, wood was scarce, sometimes non-existent. So people adapted the fuel itself. Animal bone and animal fat, burned instead of wood. And for something even smaller, they engineered a different solution. Simple stone lamps, carved with a shallow bowl shape. Filled with fat, fitted with a wick made of moss or plant fiber. These lamps burned steadily, with almost no smoke at all. Not for heat, just for visibility, a small, controlled point of light. Enough to see a threat coming without giving away your entire position. Sleep itself wasn't left to chance either. At a site called Border Cave, in South Africa, researchers found something remarkable. Evidence of a deliberately engineered bed. Not just a pile of grass, a built structure. The base layer was ash. Ash specifically stops crawling insects from reaching you. On top of that, fresh grass and aromatic plants. Plants chosen specifically because insects like mosquitoes avoid their smell. This wasn't random comfort, this was applied pest control. Layer by layer, someone had clearly worked out what actually kept people safe. And sleep itself wasn't a solo event. Groups slept packed tightly together, for warmth, and for defense. Children were placed at the center of the group. Strong adults formed the outer ring, facing outward. If something came in the night, it met adults first, not children. This wasn't sentimental, it was structural defense. And here's the part that's genuinely clever. Nobody needed to be formally assigned as a night guard. Older adults naturally wake earlier. Younger adults naturally stay up later. Children wake randomly, at scattered, unpredictable hours. Put those three patterns together across one sleeping group, and you get a natural, staggered rotation. Someone was almost always at least partly awake, tending the fire, listening, watching without ever being told to. Biology itself was doing the scheduling. Camp organization extended beyond sleep, too. Butchering animals and disposing of remains happened away from the sleeping area, because that smell draws predators directly toward it. Keep that activity distant, and you keep the danger distant too. And there was another layer of protection: walking on four legs. Early canids, ancestors of modern dogs, often stayed close to the fire. Not fully tame, not yet, but close enough to matter. They reacted to sounds and smells long before a human ever would. An early, living alarm system, sitting right at the edge of the firelight. Now, step back from the night itself, and look at something deeper. Why did the human brain get so large in the first place? One well-known idea points to cooking. Softened, cooked meat is easier to digest. Easier digestion frees up energy, and that energy could fund brain growth. It's a compelling idea, but the timeline complicates it. Solid evidence of controlled fire dates back roughly 250,000 years. But brain size had already been increasing for nearly 2 million years before that. So cooking alone doesn't explain the earliest jump in brain size. Something else was likely happening first. Simply eating raw meat, hunted deliberately, is extremely calorie-dense. That alone may have funded early brain growth, long before fire entered the picture. Cooking likely mattered later, just maybe not first. Now shift to how people actually slept. Historically, once night fully arrived. Before electric light existed anywhere, sleep didn't look like it does today. Historical records describe something called segmented sleep. Two distinct phases, not one continuous block. A first sleep, then a period of quiet wakefulness in the middle of the night. During that window, prayer, small chores, quiet conversation. Then, eventually, a second sleep, carrying through until morning. This wasn't disordered sleep, it was simply normal sleep, before artificial light. And this pattern isn't purely historical, either. Modern researchers studied the Hadza, hunter-gatherers living in Tanzania today. Their nightly sleep averages roughly 6.25 hours. Fragmented, not continuous sleep efficiency around 69%. But that's not the whole picture. Frequent daytime naps fill in the difference. Their sleep isn't rigid, it's flexible, shaped by real environmental needs. Not a fixed 8-hour block, something far more adaptive. For millions of years, human biology stayed tethered directly to the sun. Sunrise and sunset controlled hormones, alertness, and rest almost entirely. Then, artificial light arrived, and changed that relationship rapidly. Modern lighting doesn't care what your biology expects. It keeps signaling daytime long after the sun has actually set. That disrupts the same internal rhythms shaped over millions of years. We're forcing an ancient biological system into a schedule it never evolved for. So think back to that Ice Age night one more time. A small fire, placed carefully near the entrance. A stone lamp glowing faintly, its wick barely smoking at all. A bed engineered layer by layer, ash first, then grass, then pest-repelling plants. Children sleeping safely at the center of the group. Adults on the outer edge, facing whatever might approach. Someone, somewhere in that circle, was naturally, quietly awake. A canned alarm resting near the fire, ears still working. None of it accidental, every piece solving a specific, real problem. Fire for warmth and visibility, fuel adapted to what the land actually offered. Beds engineered against insects, sleep arranged for defense and rest at once. A rhythm of 2 sleeps, broken gently by a quiet waking hour. All of it shaped by a world with no artificial light at all. Compare that to how most of us sleep tonight. 1 block rigid, fought against with alarms and screens. Same biology, completely different environment. Maybe segmented sleep wasn't a flaw to